Hello, this is Andreas from Nordic Tarot, and I've got 3 readings for you for the last 2 weeks of September. Please remember that even the 2 more specific readings, the love and the work reading, they are still general, so if they do not resonate, I'm sorry, but hopefully at least one of the 3 will. And you'll find more information about how to contact me and on the decks I'm using in the description. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your readings. Hey Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising, and I'm here with your 3 readings. And I think they are quite interesting. So let's get into it. The oracle card I pulled for you for these 2 weeks is number 15, Message in a Bottle. And the essential meanings are communication, a sign, a Cleedon pointing the way to your highest good. And I did some reading up about Cleedons. It says here in the book that the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker. So essentially what this is someone saying something, like maybe to you or just around you where you can hear it, where they are not aware or involved at all in your thought process, and what they say just happened to trigger you into realizing something or thinking about something. But now, or you could just say a Cleedon. And for your general reading, the oracle's message is: Spirit sends you signs when you ask for them, when you believe you will receive them, and when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language and symbols, oracles and omens. They can come to you as a bird flying by, a logo on a truck, and a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open, for someone might just say the right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today, your message is: Spirit hears you, and the reply is favorable. Man, Taurus, I feel like you've been through some stuff here. For example, the 4 of Swords is a card of taking a break and putting down your swords and healing. That it's been a time of slowing down, or you have the opportunity, or maybe the advice is that it's time to take a little break. It's time to heal yourself, and it's okay that you have to do that. And on the other hand, you have the 10 of Swords, which is, can be a really brutal energy because it can talk of feeling betrayed, like someone betrayed you, being stabbed in the back somehow. What's, of course, important to remember about the 10 of Swords is that the worst is over. And I like this card in the Thelema deck because it looks like she's kind of already on her way to like shrugging the swords off, like she's already about to remove them. And it just, I don't know, gives you that glimmer of hope, and it's just kind of like she just feels like a real warrior. Like this just happened to her, and she's like, oh, well, screw this, I'm going to stand up and get out of this energy because I'm not into it. So I understand why the 4 of Swords is there because of the 10 of Swords. It just feels like a very brutal thing. But in the middle of this, you have the Lovers, which is, a head or heart decision. It's what you love, following your heart. It's a soulmate card. It can be meeting someone or someone coming into your life, or this is how you feel about someone you're with. But since this is the general reading, I feel like this is about just generally something you love. It does not necessarily have to be a person, but this can be about just like your love for your career, or whatever your path in life is, or where you are, or how things are at the moment. And I feel because the 10 of Swords is such a heavy energy to have to deal with, then if you're like healing yourself and taking a break with the 4 of Swords, I feel like you might be more open to these, like following, what is it your heart wants? Where are you going? Are you wanting to start something new? Like what's going on with the Lovers? Is there something that you love that you want to follow? And I think, is some very important questions to ask yourself. Now, about your love reading, the relationship message is: you can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, phone call, or email. You are the intended receiver of this message, so stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. Now, I find your love reading very interesting because you do have the Temperance card, which is a card that talks of divine timing. And if this message is indeed from the universe, or the gods, or God, or spirit, or however you want to look at it, if the message is from this entity or the universe, I usually just say universe. So if you hear me say universe, I'm talking about God or spirit or whatever you like to call it. So if the message is indeed from the universe, then Temperance is here to kind of anchor that point. Of course, with Temperance, the message that also brings you is moderation in all things, general just balance and being in harmony with yourself or the universe or your partner. And I feel that will bring in this like opportunity of the Fool and the Death card to happen. And like, especially the Death card looks kind of scary, and the Fool might look scary as well. Maybe you're thinking, like, for example, if you're in a relationship and you get the Fool card, and of course the Fool card, it talks about a new beginning and a leap of faith, but the Fool does not mean that you'll begin a new relationship necessarily. This can be a new beginning within a relationship you're already in. Like, for example, you can read it like this. Okay, so you get some divine timing or a message or confirmation or something with Temperance, and of course don't forget the harmony and the balance part of the card, like be more balanced. And I almost feel like it's talking about focusing on your own inner harmony, like how you are doing and how you feel. And again, if we look at the general reading, I feel like that's what it's about with the Four of Swords and Ten of Swords. Like, that's healing yourself and finding yourself again and like inner harmony. And then you kind of get the opportunity with the Fool from that with a new beginning or a leap of faith. And this can be something growing within an already existing relationship. Like, yes, maybe you are single and then the Fool is that you start dating, or you know, you just throw yourself out there and you're like, this is what I want to do. I want to meet people. And you think of a way to get to meet people. You know, maybe you start using a dating site, or you got to a bar with some friends. But of course, if you're in a relationship, this can be, especially with the Death card, like the Death card is the death of something old, like an old situation, an old perspective, you know, an old way of thinking or feeling about something, and the beginning of something new, or the birth of something new. And I don't know if the Fool or the Death card comes first, if they're working together at the same time, because maybe there is this thing with the Death card that the death of something old happened, and now you are in the presence of the Fool energy, and you're like, okay, I'm going to start something new, which is the birth of something new, like the flip side of the Death card. But I feel like it's very like super powerful things, and I feel like you'd make something really good with this, and I think it's really positive. But then again, you have this, like, you have to ask yourself, like, where am I and how am I feeling? How am I doing in me to utilize the Fool and the Death energies? Well, the Fool energy especially, like feeling like, well, I might be scared and I don't necessarily know what's beyond the next turn in the road, but I'm going to go there to find out. And then the Death energy is something that happens, and then that's something you can work with, right? I just feel it's quite exciting. It's quite exhilarating to me. And of course, I understand if you don't feel the same way, but I feel like you have the power here, definitely. And maybe then the universe with the message in a bottle is kind of sending you a nudge in a certain direction, or just a little confirmation that it is okay to do something that you might be worried about, or like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, I don't know enough about it, you know? But you have some great energies to work with. And for your work reading, the prosperity message is, you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You're coming into alignment with your destiny, and Spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. So I feel like you have some intense energies when it comes to your work reading. And yeah, all your readings are quite intense, but like with the Six of Swords, this is an energy of moving away from something, like, because it's a low level of grief associated with this card, like you're moving away from rough waters into calmer waters. So there's been something that's happened in the past that you've dealt with or you're dealing with, but you're moving away from that into a more tranquil kind of situation or feelings, or just a headspace. But then with the Eight of Cups, that's a card that is someone who's emotionally done with a situation. And it doesn't even have to be a negatively, like realizing, oh, actually, I don't love what I do, or I don't feel like this gives me anything anymore. It can just, like, this person in the Eight of Cups, they have obviously stacked up all the cups and looked at them and examined them and realized the thing I want, or my next cup, or what I strive for isn't here, so I'm going to go out and try and find it. But the person is not upset about it. It's not something that's necessarily upsetting. It's just a fact that what I want is not here. And I'm going to go out and find it. Where is it? I don't know, but, you know, it's kind of a search. And this can, you can link the Eight of Cups with the Lovers in your general reading, for example. Like, maybe the Lovers, that's the energy of coming up. You realize that actually this is what I love and this is what I want to do. For example, a career path. And that's what the Eight of Cups is talking about, that, oh, I don't know if I'm on the right path, and I'm going to go out and look for what is the right path for me. But then you do have the... And I kind of feel like with the Six of Swords, like a journey and moving away, and it can be a physical journey, it can be traveling somewhere. But I feel like with this energy of moving away from something with the Six of Swords and being ready for something new to come along with the Eight of Cups, where the prosperity message is talking about coming into alignment with your destiny, I feel like you are now very open, and like if someone were to contact you, you know, expect a call or an opportunity, etc., a message from an old colleague or something, then you'd be in a great position to make use of that and be receptive to that happening, which I think is fantastic. But of course, with it there being a low level of grief with the Six of Swords, I understand if it's been a difficult situation and this is something you're trying to move away from. But then Justice is here, and Justice is talking about, of course, it's balance and justice, but it can be about contracts and decisions. And it's, of course, very much a card that speaks of keeping a balance in all areas of your life. Like, it can be, and this is just an example, I'm not saying this is happening, but maybe you've been focusing too much on working and getting things done, and maybe you've neglected some other aspect of your life or another area of your life, and Justice is here kind of saying, well, you know, you need to kind of balance things out, and there needs to be a kind of give and take balance kind of situation to it all. But I understand the reading looks kind of grim. I kind of just feel like there's some great opportunities for you here, especially with the message in a bottle saying that, yeah, there is a message or something, like someone contacting you. You can kind of expect that, like that's something that the universe might be meeting out. And maybe Justice is the universe, you know, because it is a major arcana. So with you being in this position of being on an emotional or actual journey with the Six of Swords, moving away from something old and trying to reach calmer waters, and being so open to something new with the Eight of Cups, I feel like maybe Justice coming in here making a decision, or someone else making a decision that affects you, or maybe this is just you making a decision, like this is what I want. And again, remember the Lovers in your general, like if you do have the Eight of Cups, then getting the Lovers, if this is about a career path, for example, that'd be a very useful energy to have. And I think it's going to be quite important for you, Taurus, to kind of open up and just keep your eyes and ears out, kind of what's going on, what's being said around you, and just try to be receptive to what it might be. And of course, the message in of itself does not hold any meaning. This is you applying meaning to something that happens. But it's, you know, it triggers you in some way that it makes you want to do something, or it makes you think in a certain way, it makes you feel in a certain way. And of course, you can exercise free will through all of these things. Just because you get a message does not mean you have to act on it. You can decide that actually that's not something I want to do. And that's completely fine as well. But I think it's worth thinking on. Thank you so much for watching my video. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if you need more information about the decks I use or how to contact me, you'll find it in the description below. And I do hope that at least one of these readings resonated with you and you got some kind of message from it. And I hope everything finds you well until next time.